So we are live. Welcome. Welcome.
Hello, hello.
How are you doing? Harvey the Moon, how are you?
I'm actually quite good. It's been a hectic day, but we're on top of it. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. I'm still recovering the energies after Bitcoin Prague. It was quite an exciting event, I need to say. And yeah, had some fun, and there was very, very many interesting people and talks. I'm glad I made it. Here we are today, and we are going to talk about the blockchain group. And this is the third episode. It's called the Bitcoin Nuclear Reactor, and we're going to talk about some very, very interesting things. First of all, 1 second. How many people? Yeah, there are currently 100 people live. I think more will join. So. And many more will listen to it, overall, because US is not yet awake. But last time, with how many views did we do? Like something like 26,000 views. The first episode, 22, the second one. So let's see how it goes with this one. All right. So before starting, a little housekeeping. As usual, this is never financial advice. So please, whoever you are, wherever you're listening from, don't trust, verify. We try to provide value, we try to provide knowledge, and you can start maybe from this and do your own research and then make up your own mind and before investing your own money. If you have any questions, please ask them in the live chat. I see that there is already some very nice words of encouragement. I like that. Thank you, guys. And also, please like and repost if you find this valuable, if you were here before. So help us amplify the value, help us amplify the message. So I think we are ready to start. Are we?
I am.
Great. So first, let's look at the topics for today, because we've got a lot of topics. I was building this presentation, I thought, oh my God, maybe it's too much. But we will try to be cautious with the time and not to spend unnecessary time on things that are not that useful. We will try to have our own, since Bitcoin is work, basically, we will try to have our own BTC yield per minute. We will try to have to spend well your attention. So first we will talk about BTC Prague, because we met the team, and I think you should hear some feedbacks. Who are these people, and why, in my opinion, after hearing them and speaking live and connecting personally, I'm much more bullish than I was before, and I got a completely different picture, an even better picture than before. So I think we should do this step. The second step is a quick KPI check-in where we are, typical BTC treasury metrics. Then the cool things that happened since our last update is the 300, I put dollars here, but it's wrong, it's euros, pardon me, 300 million euros ATM. And this is just from a couple of weeks ago, and it is very interesting. We will also talk about other capital raises and what we think it's on the plate for now and where we're going, but this is definitely a game changer that we couldn't predict before. Fourth, we will talk about market cap magic. No spoilers, I think very bullish picture there. Then we will talk about shorts, who are shorting the company, and what does that mean, and where we are at, and to get a bit of a picture of the dynamic. And also we will end with the cherry on the cake. We ran some numbers and we built some share price projections for end of the year 2025, and we will tell you, basically we share also how we calculate it, so that if you want, you can also calculate your very own scenario and your own price projection. All right, so let's start from Prague. Sorry, a little intro. Very quickly, if you are in the ALTBG community, please. Now we are actually 1,700 people, 1,400. I forgot 1,500. It keeps growing, so I forgot how many we are, but we are many people, and it's growing a lot. You can help. We grew more than 2x, and you can pin this on your profile so that everybody who knows you, everybody who visits the profile actually can see the community, and this will definitely help bring more people on board. Then here are the links to our previous episodes. If you want some content to start getting into ALTBG or get deeper insights, we are spending quite some time analyzing this company. We like it. We share everything that we find out and we think it's valuable. You can start from there. And there is also a lot more live conversations with Alexandre Lisée and Adam Beck. So there is a lot. Just go on YouTube, Google it, or like you will find it. Then I think we can start. I really like this background every time. And so ALTBG, the Bitcoin Nuclear Reactor. Yeah, we start from BTC Prague, and we met the team there. And not only we met the team, but there was Alexander that presented ALTBG on the main stage right after Sailor. And he was very bullish as usual, very grounded as usual, and he did a great pitch, to be frank. And I believe that this will resonate, and in the months to come, now that even the recording is out, I invite you to just go and look at it. I think it's great. They share updated numbers, so if you want a good picture of the company, they are clearly providing that there. And I think ALTBG is yet not known from everywhere and for anyone, above all in the US, they still have trouble purchasing it. So I think this will be also this piece of content, and also him being there would be very, very valuable. How was the presentation? Did you like Be the Moon? How did it feel for you?
Yeah, every time Alexander gets up a stage, I'm just really impressed in the way he carries himself and the way he talks and the way he thinks, but also the way he resonates with people. Because maybe I'm a little bit biased, but when he's on stage with other smaller treasury companies, he really sets himself apart from the rest through his knowledge, through his way of thinking. So he always impresses me. We saw him live now, I think 5-6 times. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, and I can just agree with that. And also something that, in my opinion, was very new this time was meeting the team and hearing the team speaking on stage. So here we see the whole team. Alexander and Valentin that are working actively for the blockchain group, but also we have shareholders and investors. So Ludovic, Sheshan Laurent, and Adam Beck and Yves from Tobam. We talked with them. We also heard them on stage, both Adam and Yves. Yves also gave a big presentation on the at the event, and it was really, really insightful. And I think, here, which picture, like a human picture, I would say I personally got a human picture from this. And the first picture was on Alexander and Valentin, because they are really focused. And when there are questions such as, why they're not delivering this type of capital raise, maybe private placement in such a short time and so on, when you talk to them, you understand, you can have an exchange and they will tell you, look, we are aware of this, we are taking notes, we appreciate your work, and that they are actually very focused on making sure the company can move faster and faster every day. And what we don't see as shareholder is that there are processes, and definitely they have trade-offs, and they might decide to go for one instrument rather than the other because it's just the potential is much higher. And from outside, sometimes it's harder to see, but you can still reassure that they are really aware and they try to maximize BTC yield. And this is not only what Alexandra says, it's what they are actually doing. So they're really building a ramp to go faster.
And to add to your point, I saw the comment about the not current pace of private placements, but if you do the 300 million euros ADM for the company, it kind of works like a private placement, but it's ongoing every week. Of course, there will what Tobam will do with the shares, he can decide on his own, but it's a weekly kind of private placement for 300 million. So.
Yeah, and we will talk about this later on. It will be very interesting, I think, about the details and the dynamics. So there is some value there. Here were my notes, actually. So about the team, like we have Tobam, which is a French fund that is investing in BTC since 2017. Their fund has been performing much better than other crypto funds because simply they just bet on Bitcoin, while the other crypto funds competitor, they bet on crypto. And so the performance are much different. They are focused on acceleration. So they're building really a ramp, and they know like that they might not communicate every day about what they're doing, but it's because they think, and they share that, they think this is critical moment and they should make things happen fast so that we can then accelerate. They have, Alexander and Valentine have a very close connection with the investors, and the investors have skin in the game. They're just not putting the money, they are contributing to, they are building, they are providing their expertise even behind the deals that they do and the strategy. So you can reassure that in ALTBG, there is definitely the expertise of Adam, Beck, Yves, Chatoufi, and Ludovic. So that's a picture I didn't have before, at least not to this extent. And then they are also enlarging the team, as they shared last week, I believe. Like they're looking for people to join them because eventually they also have only 24 hours in a day and 7 days a week. So they know they need more people. So expect some free time to be freed for them to do actual very meaningful work, even more than they're doing already. And last but not least, they are sharing, everybody in the team, in Bitcoin Investor, they're sharing a Bitcoin Maxi vision. And for example, I just want to show you this picture from a presentation of Yves, where he showed basically, I mean, they talked about the history of money, and he showed what then also the others in other kind of speeches, they kind of mentioned it. Where do they see the future of money and how do they see it evolving? And in their perspective, even Alexander said it, like they see that these Bitcoin treasury companies will be the future digital asset banks of the future, and they will be at the center of the economic ecosystem. And maybe they will hold the store of value for the whole society and then issue their tokens anchored to that store of value. And this is just, of course, a potential evolution, but just to say they're coming from a Bitcoin Maxi background and they know what they're holding. They're not just doing it for the fame, doing it for the fiat money. They are very ambitious and they have a very clear picture in mind. And I think it's very valuable and it's shared among the investors and also the team. All right. So would you love to add anything here? I promise I wouldn't spend too much time. We're already 14 minutes in.
No, I think you captured it perfectly. Really impressed also with Ludovic and with Yves.
Yeah.
Great minds.
Yeah, totally. All right, we are ready for some ALTBG check-in, some BTC Treasury KPIs check-in. Let's see where do we stand. I would love to have your help here, Bidemon. Well, this speaks for itself. What would you say?
It's funny that we look at this and you see the orange line below there, the Bitcoin line. And if we zoom out a little, you get this year-to-date stock performance, and it's just massively outperformed everything on its way. It's incredible. I even did a post a few minutes ago. It said, because we have some down pressure today, but if you just compare it to holding Bitcoin is up 2.5% this month. ALTBG is up 50%. Last month, Bitcoin was up 11%. ALTBG was 245%. We need to zoom out a little, and that's what you get when you're in it. Maybe you don't see it anymore, but ALTBG is doing crazy bullish stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, here I didn't include, I took all the companies, and somebody might argue, oh, but there is a smarter web company is performing better. Yeah, I warn you, like, this is just personal perspective. Be careful, like, they just retraced something like minus 50%. They were going at a very high speed. That in theory, if they would have kept going, they would have acquired 21 million Bitcoin by October 25. So I would I would suggest anybody, of course, in a non-financial advice, but it's always to exercise caution. And here we have a bit of a drop. We have some short pressure that we talk about, but this is kind of even healthy behavior to slow down. That sometimes you want to slow down before crashing, growing continuously and then crashing 50%. Yeah. Next. Oh, so this is, I'm happy, like this is your calculation, please. Share with me.
I always calculate every day the months to cover, the TBY, the PCV, just to get a feeling, are we going upwards, are we going downwards? If new people get in the stock today, how much time will it be before they cover their own MNAV? And since a couple of months until now, the months to cover MNAV has been around between 4, maybe 4.5 and 5.5. It was 5.3 before the stock damped a little. It's 4.86 now. So yeah, still crazy fast. And we still burn about 1.5 of MNAV premium a month. So when you look at the picture on the right-hand side, normally the days to cover goes up when time passes, but you can see Metaplanet and ALTBG go pretty straight. So that's bullish. So even when you get in the stock now or last month or the month before, the months to cover is still like a straight line. So they're keeping up the pace based on their previous acquisitions. That's really bullish.
And also, I think here ALTBG is like what, the third company per BTC treasury size here, because there is a lot of newcomers which have like very small BTC treasury size, and also there, like I suggest always be cautious when just comparing metrics. You need to kind of have a kind of comprehensive view, because smaller companies will have much higher BTC yields, and it will seem like they can recover the MNAV in just a few days, but it's very likely that their pace will soon slow down, because the more they get Bitcoin, the harder it gets to get actually meaningful amount of Bitcoin. So that's the challenge, to keep a good BTC yield while acquiring big amounts of Bitcoin.
Yeah, so you can look at it like from the daily yield perspective. The daily yield from ALTBG is like 1.5% a day since the start of the year, and they keep their average around to 1.5. It's 1.55 now even. Oh, you put it in, perfect. So yeah, what more can you ask for than 1.5 BTC yield percentage every day? I don't know how TradFi will look at this, but it's insane.
And as we can see, there was a jump. It was, of course, heading down because there are few purchases. So also something to notice when you are doing a comparison. Some people said, but we don't see enough purchases. Yeah, but we know that the blockchain group has been purchasing less frequently, but much bigger amount. Look, it basically had very few purchases, and it kept trending down the BTC yield per day until they purchased many more Bitcoin, and then it went up again, and then it's restart to trend down. Ideally, we will manage to do like Metaplanet in orange that you can see. Of course, it's also trended down, and then it increased a lot amount of Bitcoin, and it manages to basically defy gravity, which is a very good signal as well. And so far, we did the same. So we will see where this goes. But it's a matter we are happy to track and see that it's healthy right now. So yes. So now we start to get to the first juicy part. Let's talk about this 300 million ATM. First of all, shout out when we talk about capital raises. Shout out to the community. Great graph from John Toshi Nakarambo. Please keep doing this. We will definitely. I mean, I'm gonna follow it. If you're doing it, I'm happy not to redo the work. But what do we see here? What do you think, Pidemun? How it's gonna do? We have very few touch points.
Yeah, I really love this graphic because it makes it gives clues. It gives clues about the trajectory we went from and we're going to, but it also just mutes some of the noise that's on online today, because the 270 of 227 and 881. So I just calculated it, 1108 Bitcoin. It's approximately 35 days of buying. So when you see that the path they went on, it's just get bigger and bigger every time, every month. So we went from 15 in November, the start of the BTC treasury, and we're at 1728 now with even more capital on its way. So how can you complain about adding more than 1,100 Bitcoins in almost 1 month?
Yeah, totally agree. I think we have few touch points because, we started buying much more Bitcoin recently, and I'm very curious to where we are going next. So once again, here is another KPI, but I think it's worth mentioning. We are very much on a good trend. I think, we're following Metaplanet with definitely much more Bitcoin at the age they used to be, when basically the age that would match our age, ALTBG age. But let's see where this goes, if it actually goes up or if it keeps trending towards Metaplanet. But definitely this is a very good check-in, a very good KPI to observe, and it's giving very good information and insights. We are on the right track. Yeah, sorry.
It's a fun metric to watch because it looks like it's kind of a race, but you see Metaplanet being 7 months earlier in their treasury company journey. It gives clues about where ALTBG could be in 7 months. So it's I like this website also.
Yeah, like just give it time, people. Let's give it time. They're working hard day and night. So I just like what they already shared in the last month was quite great. They came up with this 300 million that we didn't expect. Let's see what they come up with in the next month. Yeah, and then just a reminder, this was their original target, and we're already in target. And I think the information we will share in this live, they can help you make your own guess about where we will land in the year. Maybe, some would guess also that we will actually end up reach the targets that is for the next year. I don't know. Make your own guesses. We will try to make some educated guesses later. But yeah, it's quite bullish that we're already in target. And yeah, what these is about short-term estimated capital raises. Bidemon, please.
Yeah, we know based on the press releases, we can see which amounts are actually open. That's the 4.1 second week of ATM. It's the 1.16 million from Adam Beck from his tranche 1, and it's 0.14 million from Tobam tranche 1. So that's clear capital that's coming through the door. So that's about 50, 60 Bitcoin probably very soon. And then we know from the press releases the possible capital raises that are not certain now, but they are included in the past press releases as possibilities. So that's tranche 2 from Moonlight Capital. They did 5 million tranche 1, and then within 3 months they get the option to do 1.5 times their investment at a 30% increase of the last one. Same goes for Tobam. They did 6 million. Within 3 months, they can do 9 million more, but they have to pay 30% more than their purchasing price on that one. And then we have some additional shares counts just from the early days. 0.28 from UTXO, 5.2 from Fulgur Ventures, some executive shares, and there's some BCA possibility before 10th of April 2026. We have to see how much converts, but it's the warrant program that they did in April a couple months ago. So in the pipeline, there is a lot of money, and this is without additional ATM, without additional private placements or Bitcoin convertible debt. This is just money that is already set in paper, but can or possibly will be executed in the near future.
Yeah, and just to recap, what are the financial instruments that they are using to acquire Bitcoin? So what are those that they mention, and what are those that they already used? So previously they already used exactly. Those that are used and those that we believe will be coming soon, but maybe they need to grow a little bit before using them, but they clearly want to use them. So we have private placements, as they did already several times. BTC denominated convertible debt. This was basically the main reason we managed to push the amount of Bitcoin up very fast. And I would bet more is coming. They're not sharing information about these. They cannot share until it's a done deal. But I guess the demand is there. Wales, there is a lot of Bitcoin. Just as a statistics, I saw it recently. Oh, I don't remember the exact percentage, but I remember the graph. It was like most of the Bitcoin around still belongs to individuals and not to ETFs, not to companies, not to institutions, to individuals. So this is a great tool for any individual with a lot of Bitcoin to actually access ways to leverage your Bitcoin to even have a bigger yield, bigger returns. Then they have stock acquisition rights, so warrants for retail investors, and they just surprised us. We didn't see that coming. I mean, we know that it's something that most company do, but they never talked about it, and they have this ATM. Later on, at some point, I guess we will see coming traditional convertible debts in fiat and public offering authorization. And it's pending approval. We will see. I mean, at some point we will see. I'm sure we will see these things coming, and it will be very interesting to see even the sizes of these new instruments. But I think here we want to talk actually about what this new instrument. It is quite interesting. So this 300 million ATM program. First of all, the terms are very important. Like, in order to understand what it's about and the potential, we need to understand the terms. The terms are 300 million in 6 months, but they're like, since it can be re-executed, extended, if they finish early, they might just extend early. And they didn't say anything about that, but it's just in the interest of everyone to make things go fast. And I don't know, I got a bit the vibe from by hearing them talking that their intention is really to make it happen fast. So we will see. We just can see and observe how it evolves. So as we said, the length is 6 months. The execution timing, it's also quite important. So to BAM, the fund with whom that subscribe this ATM program, can submit requests daily after the market is closed to buy new shares. And the pricings of these shares, the subscription price, so the price at which they will purchase, it's always the maximum between the closing price on the day before the request and the volume weighted average price of the day before the request. So they pay the most expensive price between these two. They have also volume limit, so they can buy maximum 20% of the total trading volume from the day before. So they cannot buy everything. So this also allows us to kind of build some sort of estimate about maximum amount available to them and maximum amount of to be executed. And also we know that all the requests from the week where there was this execution of the ATM are grouped, and then they're executed as a single capital increase the week after. So we would expect always, tell me if I'm wrong, be the moon, but we will always expect like the week after, every week by now. And this is a very good tool for those who are saying, they should communicate more. Basically, they are going to communicate now potentially every week. Most weeks, they're going to communicate, we raised this capital, and then they will just buy Bitcoin with it.
If there is ATM done, then we will hear about it every week. The first two so far were both on Tuesday. One was Tuesday morning, the other one was Tuesday evening. So it seems like there's a little delay, but it seems like Tuesday will be ATM days, announcement days of the previous week ATMs. So it's nice.
Yeah. And so we see more of this coming. And to those who say it's important to communicate, this is, I think, in Maxis also that marketing part that will attract some attention. Here you have some nice numbers. I'm very curious to hear them. I didn't deeply review it yet, so I'm very
Every day I'm counting what is the max possibility for Tobam to do ATM on. So it's 21% of the volume of the shares times the closing price of yesterday. But it only makes sense if they do it on green days, because they will not buy shares that were higher yesterday if the closing price is lower today, because then you're buying at a premium above the current price. So that doesn't make sense. So when we look at week one, there was a total of 24 million possible on green days, and they did about 30% of that, so 7.2 million. When we look at the second week, because we only have 2 data points, it's about 16.5 million of green days, and they did about 4.1 million, so that's 25%. So based on just 2 spots, and I could be entirely wrong here, it seems like they're going to do about 25 or 30% of the green days. If we take the last 2 data points, it's about 3.5% of BTC holdings per week. So that would add about 2,500 in 6 months. But when volume picks up and stock price goes higher, there is more possibility to do more ATM to convert more of the MNEF premium to hard Bitcoin. So this can ramp up really fast. But for now, my takeaway is it looks like they have an algorithm, of course, but it looks like they're doing about 25 to 30% of the green days. But maybe next week comes out and I'm totally wrong and they did more, or maybe they did even less. But it's a fun metric to watch. It's weekly purchasing of possible Bitcoin.
Yeah. The more we will see it executing, the more we can actually analyze these and like estimate also how fast they will be going or what's their strategy as well.
Yeah, and the dilution is very, very tiny. So for the last 4.1 million, that's just 1.25% of the fully diluted share count. So it's highly accretive.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, and thank you a lot for this. I think it's very valuable. I'm curious to see where it goes next. Now, something that we were thinking about, and we also had we heard some discussions recently in the industry about the importance of market cap. And I would call it market cap magic, because I think like Alexander is not talking about, it's going silent about this, but this is quite interesting. So this is the current market cap. I think now it's slightly lower because we had the price, little price drop today. But I think I calculated yesterday, 2 days ago maximum. So it's an update, up-to-date number. Now, this is the trajectory, as you can see, kind of flat until things started to speed up. Now, what happens when we reached critical levels of market cap, 1 billion and then 2 billions, but already 1 billion would be the first one. I think some magic happens there. So I asked ChatGPT to help me brainstorm a bit about this, because I'm not an expert myself. I had to study a bit to do some research. But when the market cap reaches 1 to 2 billion, then first of all, there is an overall higher perceived stability of the company from the institutions, from the world of money. Reputation increases among investors. Also, media can, help, of course, magnify the message, but we are not counting necessarily on that, but already among investors. Liquidity of the shares is higher. Analysts, and we already had the first analyst coverage a few weeks ago, analyst coverage will increase. And the analyst coverage we had a few weeks ago gave an estimate price, end of year estimate price. I think it was end of year, right, Vidamon? Of
€8.80 end of year. Yeah.
€8.80 end of year. And this was just the first analyst that decided to take a look. We will have more, free float. That is also important. And I think this is the cool part. So all of a sudden, index eligibility becomes realistic. So what in concrete terms, what does this enables? So it enables better conditions for money, for the debt, so larger and cheaper loans, which means also it enables all the areas of fiat loans, fiat convertible debt at good conditions. Above all, you need to consider this is the only company right now with a meaningful size of BTC treasury that used BTC denominated bonds, which means that once they will reach 1 billion to 2 billion market cap, it will be the only one with actually a balance sheet that is that has some proper credit rating, because their BTC on the balance sheet is both on the liabilities and on the assets, so they don't have huge debt. And this is definitely a plus when they are large enough to access fiat convertible notes or fiat loans. So they will be very interesting, even in comparison to other Bitcoin treasury companies, because of their balance sheet. They will able to issue public bonds. I mean, better terms, we just mentioned it. It's just part of that. The inclusion in indices is quite meaningful. Next slide will be quite interesting. I will leave it there for you to look at it. It will attract. They will basically attract more capital. They will be able to raise equity faster, and I mean, I think we're just seeing, like, I think the market cap is just a part of the ramp that they will be able to build. The higher the market cap, the faster they will accelerate. But now the next slide, I just did a wrap up, and I asked ChatGPT, so feel free to like really challenge it. But I asked, what are the in the ETFs where they will be eligible once they reach a certain size? And here there are a series of ETFs like European, French. I think like there is a lot that is accessible once they are above 1 billion or also 2 billion. So this is all passive money that will just be allocated to the blockchain group. And we are going, I just would like go back to this slide. We are going in that direction. We will be there not too late, not in so much time. All right. And if you want to take a look, or maybe you do your own research on ChatGPT, but you can have access to these, rewatch the video, rewatch this slide to make up your own mind. I think it's very interesting. I'm reading some notes. Gary is writing. Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, exactly. He's just making, again, the point of the more they will grow, the better it will be, and the more capital they will attract, because there is only as much as capital you can attract by the remaining a smaller company. All right. I think we are getting closer to also our price projections, but I think this was deserving a bit of attention before getting to the step. We're talking about shorts, a phenomenon that we have started noticing also from last episode, that has probably caused some selling pressure in the last couple of days. And Bidemoon has a very cool insight in that. So yeah, please share with us, man.
Yeah, watch out for the shorts. When a company grows and a company grows fast, there are always like hedge funds that bet on the downturning of the stock price. In this case, I really wonder if they know they're betting against one of the biggest, fastest growing treasury companies out there, but maybe they do. At the moment, we know that there are two short hedge funds publicly listed, available to see how much they are shorting. That's Cube and Volion. Cube is shorting 0.71% of the stock, and Volion 0.75% of the stock. Citadel is still mentioned, but it's probably closed, because if you are above 0.5% of the total shares, you have to disclose your short position. If you're below, you don't. So Citadel put the short on in February at about 45 cents. So that short didn't end up so well for them, and they probably closed it. So in the next calculation, I won't calculate for Citadel, but I did a calculation for Cube and Volion, because now we see these shorts being added. The last few days, they increased their short position. But what does it mean? Are they making money? Are they even winning? Or is this just a losing bet for them? And could we even help them lose more? So if you can go to the next slide, maybe. What did I do? I calculated what does Cube have, what does Volion have on average purchasing price of their short. So Cube started their short position on the 23rd of May. They shorted about 0.54%. Could be that they build it up, because they only have to say they did it after they crossed the 0.5%. But let's assume this was the first day, because if it's before, it's even better for us, because they started at lower pricing, the shorts. You can see on the first row, 23rd of May, 0.54%. The total outstanding shares of ALTBG was 102 million. That means they shorted 551,000 of them. The price of ALTBG was €2.93 at the closing. I used the closing. I could use the mid or whatever, but the closing seems more fair. That means they had a short position of 1.6 million at that time. If we fast forward 3 days, they increased their shorts by 0.7%, so about 71,000 more shares. The price was €2.77, so the total short was 1.8 million. If we do this for every short position, they are in until the 24th of June, because I cannot see the 25th or today yet, because they have to disclose it today about yesterday. Then we can see that the total short position is about 8.3 million and 1.9 million shares. It is actually bigger because I saw about 600 shares being shorted extra yesterday. So I think there are about 2.5 to 2.8 million shares shorted at the moment. But this is the facts we know. So let's calculate based on this, because it even gets better for us if they added yesterday. The 1.9 shares, if we calculate all shorts at all closing prices, their average short price is 4.38. So they only make money because maybe one step back. How does a short work for the people that don't know how shorting works? When you short a company, you don't own the stock. You borrow the stock from other holders you don't know, because the broker does this, makes this available for you. So you borrow the 1.9 million shares in this case. You say, I will pay you a fee. And the fee for borrowing ALTBG shares is 200% a year. Crazy high fee rate. And you say, I will give them you back later with interest. That's what you do. So you borrow 1.9 million shares. You flood them in the order book on a sale. You do that in a fast pace, so the stock goes down. You hope that weak hands will join you in selling their shares, so the stock goes down even more. And then you have to buy back your 1.9 million shares in the future to give it back to the one you borrowed it from with an additional interest rate. So that's how shorting works. So shorting only works when weak hands get convinced to sell their shares, so the downward pressure is even bigger, so the shorters make money. But the shorters have to cover for their average price plus the fee rate they pay. Now, if we conduct all the shorting until the 24th of June, they paid an average of €4.38. We can count them by adding the shares times the share price at closing. So it's €4.40 to make it easier, was their average purchasing price. So above €4.40, where we are now, €4.57, they are losing money. They're not in the green. If we add the fee rate they pay, they pay about 0.65% a share price for the last 35 days they are short. So their break even to make money, the price of the stock has to go below €3.73.
This is really cool, really cool. And this is really cool.
It gives so much insight about the shorts aren't winning. They're adding shorts because they are losing.
Yeah, and also I would like to point out a little, let's say, game theory or logical thought experiment. So let's say they short and the price drops, right? At some point, they need to buy with all those shares. They need to buy them. They need to cover them. Like, what happens to the share price then when they cover them? Like, there are a lot of shares, so they need to also do that intelligently. That will be like buying pressure as well, no?
Yeah, they have to taper it off because they hold more shorts. They hold about the same shorts as the total daily volume of ALTBG at the moment. So if you want to close it in one go because the price goes up in crazy amounts, you are actually increasing the buying power and you're actually getting squeezed out to the top. So you want to close as fast as possible because the price is running away from you. But when you close, you're extra buying pressure to the price. So shorting is a difficult and dangerous game, but they're more than €1 out of the money at the moment. The fee rate is going up every day for them, and I don't see the price going near their break even. So unless they use more shorts to create more weak hands, and then they even have to buy it back without increasing the price at such an enormous way, I don't see this winning in any way.
Yeah, also I
I
think
don't see it.
here the failure, let's say, in the problem might be that these funds that are short are not super aware of what's happening, right? Because I see it this way. So the blockchain group is buying Bitcoin with infinite fiat amount. It has behind investors who are Bitcoin maxi and really believe where Bitcoin is going. It's an asset that is going always up. So at some point, just give it time. Like just Bitcoin is gonna go up, or it's gonna, and they are gonna purchase much more Bitcoin. They're moving much faster. They are doubling the amount of Bitcoin in no time. So give it one more month, they will have much more Bitcoin. And these shorts are playing really with fire because order price drops fast, but then they have the problem that they need to cover a huge amount of shares, which also will push the price back up. But the longer they wait, the more fees they buy, and the more likely that the more Bitcoin will be purchased by the blockchain group. So their intrinsic value of the company will increase. So I think they are really I mean, of course, they're doing a dangerous game, and it's even more dangerous if they didn't consider that this is a Bitcoin company. And they don't see maybe where this is going. They don't see that the growth that they had, it was not just pure speculation, but there is also a lot of shareholders who believe this company will be, I don't know, the future digital asset bank of France. So yeah, I think it's. I'm very curious to see where this is going, and I see by the numbers like break even at 373, with then having to rebuy the shares, like cover the shares. It's can be quite some tough spot there to be for those funds.
Yeah, try buying 2 to 3 million shares without going above your break even again. It's
Yeah.
quite impossible.
Yeah, and I see some very useful comments. Actually, we should raise awareness about this. So actually, you can tell your broker that you don't want to have your shares available for shorting. And it might be that your shares are available for being shorted, and so that these funds can actually borrow them, and you don't know. So it is worth it checking that that's not the case. Of course, it's against your interests. I mean, you might earn something even, but the question is, I mean, if you're a shareholder, it's definitely kind of could be a conflict of interest, definitely. So yeah.
Yeah, it's long term vs short term. In the meantime, a little bit of shorting is not bad for a company because in this case, I honestly believe there will be buyers to close their shorts. So there's going to be a day when we see the fee rate drop, the shorts being closed, and the stock price just go crazy up because they have to catch up to the price
Yeah.
to not lose a lot of money. It's
Yeah.
going to happen. We don't know when, and probably when there's a big announcement from the team, maybe even just the OCT ticker with the extra volume there, which I think is coming in the next couple of weeks. Just speculation, but I think it's coming. There are so many bullish outlooks that could hurt this stock because you're betting against a fast-growing company with BTC as a nuclear reactor on its balance sheet.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great news. Let's catch up again next time on these and see where did it go. Now, okay, just a reminder, like because the shorts are behind the price drop that we see these days. This is a quote from Josh Mandel that I think is really, really meaningful. I really love it. Like, you do not plant a seed in the ground and then dig it up every day to see that it is growing. And I wanted to say these because I saw some comments and we engaged, and I see that there are different type of shareholders at the moment behind the blockchain group. And the question I would invite everybody to ask themselves is, what company did you buy? Because I bought a company that I investigated, researched, I made podcast about with Be the Moon. We looked at the numbers. We met the CEO. We met the team. I bought a company that I believe will be the digital asset bank of France, if not Europe. I bought a company that is the first European Bitcoin treasury company that whom CEO to the Bitcoin strategy is very close to Michael Saylor. and he's a Bitcoin maxi. I don't know. I bought this company, so I'm not complaining if the price drops like some percentage point after having rallied 300%. Actually, I see that as a buying opportunity. And it's not financial advice, of course, but I would invite, if you're in this company, to ask yourself, what do you think you're holding? Ask yourself if you know enough. There are many, like we did like podcast episodes, interviews with Alexander Lezé, Adam Beck. Just go and watch them, and then decide if this investment was there like you thought it was, or it's even better than that. So yeah, I would just encourage you to not to basically dig up a seed that you planted every day to check if it turned into a plant, because that's not going to turn into a plant then. Or maybe you don't understand what you planted, and yeah, then I would encourage you to do the work or to understand what type of company this is. Yeah. So next, I would say we are getting to the end, and we left the very juicy part to the end. I like to play with a bit of AI here and use our avatars.
I love this. I
Yeah,
really love this.
I really like it. I really like it too. It was quite exciting. So let's talk about share price projection, end of year share price projection. First of all, what's like how we did our projection. We did it in a way that, frankly, anybody can do it. It's not sophisticated math or anything. So we took some assumptions. The main idea behind this projection is to make assumptions. So we took an assumption on what is the BTC treasury going to be at the end of the year. So we know the target is 3,000. We are already at 1,700. So it could be even higher. So we could just experiment with different levels of BTC treasury sizes. What will be the BTC price at the end of the year? And we can also base do our simulation scenarios based on the power law that was very accurate in the past. The power law predicts $142,000, and you can see the deviations around these, which is the main, let's say, the median of the power law. Also, that we can check on the MNAV. Currently, I mean, now it dropped a little bit, but a few days ago it was 12. And for example, my just gut feeling was like, okay, if there is some very bullish news and they accelerate and so on, it might go even higher than 12. Or as they buy more BTC, they might slow down and it might go down to, for example, to 8, to 6, and so on. The real point here also that might be not so intuitive is how to compute the fully diluted shares outstanding. So this is not, rather than a direct assumption, you cannot, I mean, it is not easy to assume, but you can calculate reversibly. Starting from the first formula, where you basically can calculate the amount of Bitcoin to be added to the balance sheet as new shares issued, number of new shares issued, multiplied by basically the market value in BTC denominated terms of one single share, which is nothing more than the Bitcoin per share multiplied by MNAV. So this is the BTC value of a new share issued. We multiplied by the amount of new shares, we find the amount of Bitcoin to be added. Now we can reverse this formula and see that we have new shares equal Bitcoin to be added divided Bitcoin per share multiplied by MNAV. Now, we know the Bitcoin to be added per day or in the period. We can easily find it by the target, so the assumptions that we had at the beginning, so how big is going to be the Bitcoin treasury by end of the year. Saying that, it means that then we can calculate, by the way, the total shares. So we have new shares plus previous shares. And all of a sudden, we have all the terms to calculate how many shares there would be at the end of the year based on the assumptions of how big is going to be the Bitcoin treasury and what will be Bitcoin price, and also a different level of NAV multiplier. All right. Actually, this work, Bidemun did it some time ago, and he shared these very nice tables. This is just an example. So given an MNAV, then you can calculate, and given also the Bitcoin price, you can calculate, and the Bitcoin treasury target, then you can calculate your price here. And I suggest you to go and look at these posts. They are still there. Maybe you can repost it. Yeah, would you add anything here, Bidemon, before we show a nice graph?
No, I just want to clear up that there are 4 tables, MNF 4, 6, 9, and 12, so you can choose your own liking. And it assumes that the MNF is constant. So that's maybe the only bias. You assume a constant MNF for this calculation. But there is dilution in here. There is it's mathematical, so it's not that we filled in some random numbers.
Yeah.
It's purely math based on your input. But the next slide you will see from Enya based off this work, I think gives a better view. So maybe just share the next one instead of this one. It's the same math, but it's more like
here it is.
a better picture.
Yeah. So what did we do here? We just defined our old scenarios as using the mechanism that we showed before, and you can define your own. For us, the super bull scenario was a Bitcoin treasury in between 6,500 and 10,000 Bitcoin, an MNAV in between 12 to 14, which is it even bullish? I don't know. We were at 12 like a few days ago, and a Bitcoin price of 200,000 euros, not dollars, 200,000 euros. I mean, we had to be super bull. So that's a bit higher than many would say we will be at the end of the year. But then we pass to the bull case, and we will have between 4,500 and 6,500 Bitcoin on the treasury, and an MNAV a bit lower, 10 to 12, Bitcoin price of 175,000 euros. And base case and bear case, the bear case is Bitcoin treasury between 3,000 and 3,500 and an MNAV of 4 to 8 and Bitcoin price of 90,000 euros. Now, this is the price as it is now, and you can see where it's going for each of these scenarios. There are bands around it. Why? Because basically, as we are taking ranges, for example, ranges of Bitcoin treasury size or ranges of NAV multiplier, then the most bullish range ends up being here, and the least bullish, most bearish range is going to be here, while the median is the colored line. So we are having this scenario, like we see that the bear, at least in our opinion, the calculation is going to be at the end of the year we are around 5 euros. The base case, that's not super bullish above all about Bitcoin price. Is not super bullish about their acceleration. That, in my opinion, I mean, then we place our bets, right? It's a bit it's still bearish. It's going to be
my base case.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be 14 euros. And then there is our bets. I asked Bidemon, where would you actually think is going to be the price, realistically speaking, end of the year? And you said what? Something around, maybe I'll put it
my bet would be that we do about 8,000 Bitcoin holdings. So no pressure there, team. The MNAV will be around 8 or 9, and the Bitcoin price will be around 175, 200. That's my honest opinion. Could be wrong. It's not financial advice, but it's where I think we're headed. So about 35 euros end of year.
Yeah, and I think it's I think it's very, very like I think it's reasonable. I'm usually a bit more bullish averse. I'm always trying to keep things real as much as possible, because I prefer to be disappointed less. Like the pain of being disappointed is higher than the pleasure of being right. So I gave a bit of more a bit lower estimate. But as somebody just pointed out here, I'm gonna show the comment here. So if ALTBG follows the same path as Metaplanet and it is currently outperforming it, they will end up by end of the year at 10,000 Bitcoin, probably more, with an MNAV of 6. With Bitcoin at 200,000, that price is BTC. That price is 28 for ALTBG. Seems very possible. I would have to run the math exactly where it falls.
I did it in the meantime. It's 27.38. So he's very correct on his calculations.
Yeah. Then you see, like, I mean, this like I think that's a very good point about the trajectory of Bitcoin acquisition. I think it's very realistic. I know it looks far, but all these companies, from Strategy to Metaplanet, anybody is increasing the speed at which they purchase additional Bitcoin. So the marginal Bitcoin acquisition, it's not slowing down, it's not staying flat, it's increasing. So we will see how big will be the Bitcoin treasury by end of the year. But 10,000 is not so crazy, to be frank. Yeah.
I agree. I fully agree.
All right. What's next? Oh, yes. I think we're done. Would you add anything else on this?
Only disclaimers.
Yeah, only disclaimers. So just a reminder for all, don't trust us, verify. We do our research. We are shareholders of the blockchain group. We love it. We met the team. We like them. But eventually, this is just pieces of information that we put out there so that you can, if you want, and you are curious enough, pick them and do your own research. And yeah, this is not financial advice, but we had a lot of fun. Anything more?
No, celebrate life, enjoy
Yeah.
the ride.
Thank you for coming. We reached 1,900 live views, which is really, really great. So cheers to everyone, and speak until the next time.
See you next time. Thank you, guys.
See you.